Dear children, in the previous module, we learned about industrial revolutions in various countries and their good effect on the economies of the countries and the bad effects on the general population, especially the poor people. The introduction of machines had thrown so many people out of jobs. The population was exploding and there were unhealthy and unhygienic conditions prevalent everywhere. People were dying because of poverty and diseases. The situations during those days troubled the philosophers and artists. The ideas of liberty, equality and fraternity showed the possibility of collective mass action against the injustice being done to the common people. Before we proceed ahead, let us first understand what we mean by liberty, equality and fraternity. Liberty means freedom to live as you choose, without any restrictions from the government. Equality means that all people are treated equally, irrespective of their religion, caste, creed, color or gender. Fraternity means a feeling of brotherhood, a unity between people, irrespective of their differences. Just like all of you in the school study and play together, irrespective of your religion and caste.
In England, protests against harsh working conditions was increasing. More and more people were getting together and asking for their rights. They wanted their right to vote, but the government refused to grant it. England was at war with France during 1792 to 1815, due to which the trade between England and Europe was disrupted. Factories were shut down and inflation was rising. Government banned public meetings and inciting public addresses by the people.
There were laws like Corns Law that prevented the import of cheaper food until prices in Britain rose up to a certain level. Workers opposed the Corns Law because without it, cheaper food items would have been brought in the country. But the landowners supported the Corns Law because they would be able to send their goods at higher rates. The prices of wheat and milk products were touching the sky.
So the citizens, mostly women, began to protest the exorbitant price of bread, as it was the staple diet of the people. To show their displeasure, the protesters turned to violence. Armed mobs attacked stores and warehouses, looted bakeries and destroyed grocery and dry goods stores. Such riots were known as food or bread riots. Such riots were most prevalent during 1795 to 1840. During those days, powerful landlords merged the small portions of land owned by poor farmers with their land. This was known as enclosure and badly affected the peasants. In textile industry, machines and modern looms were replacing human workers, rendering them jobless. The weavers were upset and demanded a legal minimum wage, which was refused by the government. This angered them and they started breaking the machines. As a result, government passed an order that all those who will damage the machines will be hanged or imprisoned for life.
Terrible, wasn't it? Well, then came Luddism, a unique kind of protest under the leadership of General Ned Ludd. Luddites believed that machines were threatening their lives, so they started showing their anger by burning the machines.
Mobs roamed the industrial towns of northern England, smashing looms and frames and burning factories. In 1812, Frame Breaking Act was passed, which made the breaking of frames punishable by death. Many Luddites members were not ready to sacrifice their lives, so they left the group. However, the government made unions legal and male workers were given the right to vote. So the movement of the Luddites slowly became pointless and died down.
Children, now we will discuss about the concepts of capitalism, socialism and communism. Let us first understand capitalism. Capitalists believe that the means of production should be controlled by individual people or private owners. They believe that the profit earned on the goods produced is the sole property of the private owners. They were in the favor of inequalities existing in the society.
Both communism and socialism arose in response to the Industrial Revolution and capitalism, during which capitalist factory owners became extremely wealthy by exploiting their workers.
During the Industrial Revolution, the capitalist factory owners became extremely wealthy by exploiting their workers. The workers sloged under extreme difficult and unsafe conditions. They worked for 12 or 14 hours per day, 6 days per week without meal breaks. Workers included children younger than you. The factories often were poorly lit and had no ventilation systems, and dangerous or poorly designed machines all too frequently maimed or killed the workers.
In reaction to these horrible conditions within capitalism, German theorists Karl Marx (1818 to 1883) and Friedrich Engels (1820 to 1895) suggested an alternative economic and political system called communism. In their books, The Condition of the Working Class in England, The Communist Manifesto, and Das Kapital, Marx and Engels talked about the plight of the workers in the capitalist system and offered a solution. Under communism, none of the means of production, factories, land, etc. are owned by individuals. Instead, the government controls the means of production. Everyone works together. The wealth produced is shared out among the people based on their needs rather than on their contribution to the work. They advocated a classless society. The communists believed that the capitalist system must be destroyed through violent revolution. Marx and Engels believed that industrial workers would rise up around the world and overthrow the middle class. Russian Communist Revolution of 1917 was the source of great inspiration for Indian nationalists. The Communist Party of India was founded in 1920.
The theory of socialism, while similar in many ways to communism, is less extreme and more flexible. For example, although they advocate government control over the means of production, they also allow workers' cooperative groups or labor unions to control a factory or farm together. Rather than crushing capitalism and overthrowing the private owners by violent means, socialist theory allows for more gradual reform of capitalism through legal and political processes. Also, unlike communism, in which the profits are divided based on need, under socialism, the profits are divided according to each individual's contribution to society. Do you know, even Swami Vivekananda was himself deeply influenced by the ideas of socialism. Mahatma Gandhi dreamt of Gram Swaraj as an alternative to modern industrial revolution. He believed that the soul of India lives in villages. If those who live in villages are made to stand on their own 2 feet, the country will automatically progress.
It was the time when women also decided to fight for their rights. Till early modern times, the women were dominated by men. They did not have the right to vote. They were mostly confined to household work, and those who were employed in factories received lesser pay than their male counterparts. So they also decided to revolt and began to ask for equal rights and status as that was given to the men.
Due to all these social protests, finally towards the mid-1900s, labor unions were formed which united all the workers and brought them on a single platform. The workers revolted against the injustice being done to them, and since they were all united as one, the authorities had to kneel down before their demands. outlawing child labor, creating the 8-hour workday instead of the standard 12 hours, working for equal wages for women, improving safety conditions at work, and seeking to end discrimination in the workplace. And this is how injustices and inequalities prevalent in the society were slowly removed. However, there is much yet to be done. All the disparities in the society are not yet eradicated. What do you think? Think about the disparities and the ways we can remove it. Till we meet next, bye children and take care.